Hi guys! So today I'm going to give a little bit of a talk on stress management and self-confidence. Let's take the dictionary definition of confidence. From Merriam Webster, the quality or state of being certain. Look at your lives and think about, what are you certain of? Are you certain of your course? What about your clique, the people you hang out with? Do they bring you confidence? Do these people pull you up and say, tama yan girl? What about your captions on social media? Do you think twice before you click, tama ba to? Is what I'm saying correct? So those are all interrelated with confidence. Now let's talk about stress. What stresses you out? School. Boys. AC girls. Assumption girls. May ganon, may hugot. These are things that stressed me out when I was in your situation. Grades, passing an exam, family obligations, peer pressure, love life. These are the things that stress you out as a student. Now, let me share with you guys what stress is. A state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. When I was writing this talk and I found this definition of stress, this really resonated with me. Very demanding circumstances. And I can say this because I feel like my job and who I am, it is a very demanding job. And what you guys see is just the shallow surface of it. So today I'm going to open up a little bit about my life, if you'd let me. So this is me. And these are the things that stressed me out in 2016. I was doing a show called Too Big at Langis. And I was doing that for 6 to 8 months. I don't know if you guys watched it. I was playing Clara. Did you watch it? Okay, that was very challenging for me. One thing that stressed me out is not getting likes on a photo. That stressed me out in the same way that everything else stressed me out. And it's so shallow, but I can't help it. That's how I felt. So I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of an intimate, I've shared it already on It Girls, but I'm going to dive deeper into it. July of last year, I was shooting the end of my show. And this was Too Big at Langis. This is Zanjo Marudo playing Natoy. And he was in a coma. And at that same moment, my dad was in a coma. So this was my life, which you didn't see on It Girls, and I didn't post about. Monday, I would be in my dad's hospital room. My fiance, Adrian, got very, very sick. So he checked into the same hospital as my dad. And my tita, her name is Aurora, she's Georgina Wilson's mom, also had a heart surgery. So she was also checked into the hospital. And I just was going through life and I was praying a lot, and I kept saying, everything happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason. I was offering all of this to God, and I don't know if you saw my wedding video. I gave my speech to Adrian and I said, when all of this happened in my life, I was really questioning God. I mean, how could you feel that God loved you when 3 key people are in the hospital, right? And I had to work. It wasn't like I could be there with them 24/7. In fact, when I was in Too Big at Langis, the director would explain it to me and I said, you know what? No need for an acting cue. This is my real life, plus more. At the same time, while I was working, my real life, I had to shoot It Girls. And in It Girls, it's all glamour. So can you imagine the amount of stress I had? Now let's talk about stress and confidence. Let me ask you this. If you are not confident, are you more likely to be stressed? When you aren't confident about yourself and who you are, there's more likely that you will be stressed in every single situation that will be presented to you. You need to know what you stand for and what you believe, because every single decision in life that you will take will go back to your core. And whatever that is, that's what's going to make you confident, and that's what is going to help you manage that stress. Okay, moving on. How Belle gets by. I hate referring to myself as the third person. How I get by 101. I'm not an expert, but this is from my own learnings, and anyways, I have the mic, so wala kayong magagawa. Let me talk about the types of stress that I've learned as a student and being in front of the camera. And then being an athlete. So there's 2 kinds of stress for me. There's the good stress and the bad stress. So the good stress is the stress when you're kind of nervous and antsy and you've been preparing and you're stressed. Like this talk was giving me a lot of anxiety and stress, but it was a good kind of stress because I was excited to see you guys and I was excited to talk in front of all of you. Maybe good stress could also be when you're preparing for a thesis paper and you know that you prepared for this and you're confident and you're stressed about what they're going to say, but you're ready. Let me talk about bad stress. Bad stress is that type of stress that brings you anxiety, that you can't sleep at night, that your palms are sweaty, your knees are weak, palms are sweaty. No, I'm not gonna rap. That you feel like you're drowning and nobody can understand you because you're the only one going through that. And you feel trapped and you feel like, how the hell do I get out of this hellhole? Let's talk about managing that type of bad stress because the good stress you guys can deal with. Now, I'm going to give you guys some advice if you'll let me. Will you let me? So one of the things is putting things into perspective. I looked at the things that I had and I said, thank you, Lord, for giving me this job. Thank you for giving me amazing friends who were there to support me. Thank you for giving me these last few moments with my dad. Thank you for making it all in one hospital so that less traffic. I was just looking at the little things na parang I neglected. So I put things into perspective and I also found the time to laugh at myself and not take myself obviously not at those times, but what I'm saying is you have to find the time to laugh at yourself and not take things too seriously. If you don't do well in an exam, it's not the end all and be all of something. If somebody breaks up with you, you have to experience loneliness to define what makes you happy. Diba? So you take these things and you put it into perspective and you kind of learn from them. And I'm a big fan of cliche mottos, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, all these things, and I take those things and I learn from them. So I like to put things into perspective. So that's one way of how I deal with stress. Another way is I like to have my me time. Me time is taking the time to travel and explore and just being alone with yourself maybe or doing some sports with your friends, with your family. Honestly, a jog around your park or going to the gym or meditating. Download Headspace, it's a pretty good app. These are the things that how I dealt with stress at that time. And the third thing is prioritize. And I always say this when I teach cycling in my cycling class. We have an introspective part and I say, you are what you prioritize. So if you think about it, when people say, I'm sure you guys do this, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to visit my grandmother in freaking Antipolo. I don't have time to read a book. And if you take this and change it to, it's not my priority, you'll realize what you're prioritizing. It's not my priority to visit my lola. It's not my priority to answer emails. It's not my priority to read a book. It's not my priority to spend time with my brother when he needs homework. You'll realize what your priorities are. You'll realize what you do spend most of your time doing. So what are the key takeaways to this very small talk that I want to give you guys on self-confidence and stress? One, change your perspective. The world doesn't revolve around you and your little stress, you can handle it. And you're going to learn from it. I really believe that what doesn't kill you is going to make you a stronger person. So deal with it in a way that you know how, you know best, and deal with it with an attitude of positivity. Change your perspective. Two, make your time. Take time for yourself in this insane world of social media and overload of information and peer pressure to do this, have an OOTD, be at this org. Take time for yourself and respect that because you're going to need it when you go out to the real world. And the last thing is prioritize. You are what you prioritize. So make the most out of it. And that's it. Thank you.